Hello there, all you stay tuners. And fuck the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go.
Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here. And on, I guess my right, maybe the, I don't know, right, left, how you ever look at this.
How it's set up. Yeah. I'm somewhere.
Our good buddy King.
Hey, Jimbo, how you doing? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. And
that's what happens when your computer shits the bed.
And then you get a computer, and that shits the bed.
And then that shits the bed 8 hours later. Yeah, by the way, anybody out there, Alienware, do not buy it. I'm just going to put that out there. And if Alienware wants to be a sponsor for Stay Tuned Sports, as much as I want to sponsor, as much as Jimbo wants to sponsor, I think as much. Okay, well, let me pump the brakes on this. Depending on how much money they give us.
Yes.
But it's going to have to be a lot more than anybody else does because fuck Alienware. They are fucking terrible. And even if they give us ad read to go ahead and read for them and they do sponsor us, I'm going to make sure I say that too. I'm going to say Alienware, make sure it lasts 8 hours before you fucking really get comfortable because that thing fucking so disappointing. $2,000 computer.
Wow.
That I was able to have people really help me out in a bad spot. $2,000 computer, 8 hours later, done. And then they sent somebody to fix it. And thank God it was a good guy. And he came and he said, listen, before I touch this, I want to let you know that the motherboard that they want me to replace in this is a refurbished, used motherboard.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, this is a brand new computer. Just got it. 8 hours old. Fresh from the fucking factory. And he's like, yeah, so if you don't want that, just let me know. And I was like, yeah. So I sent it back. Thank God I was able to get the refund for it and give that money back to the people who were able to help me in that sense. But in that sense, still no computer, still no nice little home studio setup or anything like that. So here we are in my living room. I'm sure you can hear the helicopters flying around outside.
Yeah, you probably hear my dog barking upstairs. Oh,
I
King's
do.
Downstairs.
I miss Lennon. He's a good boy.
And the funny thing about ad reads and everything, one of the main things they put in like their directions of what to do is speak from personal.
What is your personal experience with the product? Make sure to work that in there if you can and have something like that. Hey, not a problem with Alienware. I will tell you all about my personal experiences. So, not the best. And like I said, still here without which also means no logo making. I haven't been able to do the top 12 picks because I don't have the ability to do any graphics.
Well, we know the Eagles are number one, so that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. No, I don't know about that.
So before we get into the meat and the potatoes of the show here, did you watch Pat's show today? McAfee show today?
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't catch all of it.
Okay, maybe you've seen it on X, Twitter, whatever. You see about Brock Lesnar's daughter?
I did. I saw that actually last night on Twitter, X, whatever it is. I did see that last night, posted a couple of times and making the rounds. Barstool, I think, posted about it a little bit. Man, that apple did not. You don't have to go to Maury to find out a DNA test on that one. I mean, that is that she is definitely 100% Brock Lesnar's daughter.
And I mean, it looks like Lesnar's wearing a wig, and I will not say it through her face or his face.
I wouldn't say that on the internet. Dude, Brock Lesnar will fucking find you. He's like Krampus.
He has enough woods to bury me too.
Yeah, he's got like basically, I think all of Saskatchewan is his now. I think he owns half of Canada. Yeah, dude. Like I'm not going to go that far. I'm definitely not insulting her.
No,
because
nope.
she's going to win some fucking gold medals for the USA in shot put. I'll put that out there. So,
And they made a good point on Pat's show. Don't just stop at shot put. Do the javelin. See how far she could probably throw it 800 yards.
just do anything. Just fucking. Well, I mean, you look at her, and yeah, I mean, she is. There's not a lot of sable in her, and that's all Brock Lesnar there.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, if I know Vince isn't in charge of WWE anymore, since they're part of the whole conglomeration there with UFC and all that. But whoever's running that, whether it's Triple H and Creative or Nick Khan or whoever, they're salivating.
Oh yeah,
waiting to get her. Dude, can you imagine having the female Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
And that's what she is. She's literally the female Brock Lesnar. Going into professional wrestling, like that's
and
like what other like this dude? That'll be she'll have a fucking Roman Reigns type run, man. If you put a belt on her, who is in a women's division of wrestling in any company, WWE, AEW, fucking NWA, whoever.
Yeah.
Who's beating her?
Yeah. I mean, I love my Rhea Ripley, but
I love Rhea. I think that would be cool. I think that one you can kind of get away with a good match there.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. What if, Lesnar obviously only has a couple years left before he finally says, I'm done doing everything. I'm going to just retire now. What if they do a mixed tag team, like WrestleMania, him and his daughter versus, say, Rhea Ripley and Priest?
I'd like to see that.
That would
that'd have to be a couple years down the road. So who knows if they're still there or if they're, still a thing or what's going on or da. And that's even if she wants to do it, know. But I have a feeling like with the amount of money that will be thrown her way simply because of her name, who her father is, and the fact that she would be able to fucking run that shit.
Yeah.
I could see that. And that'd be a hell of a match. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty sharp. I'd like to see that. So, but that's down the line. It's either here or there. Again, congrats to her. I think she broke a couple of Colorado State records. She's competing in I know the NCAA track and field and stuff like that. And the Olympics are only a little bit away here. So at the next year, I think they're in Paris. Beautiful Paris.
Yeah.
So she'll be over there representing the USA. And are you going to try to tell her she's not winning a gold medal? I don't want to tell her that. I'm not telling her that.
You're short by 6 inches. You want to double check that? Hey, look at that. It just grew 6 inches.
I don't think I am. I'm looking at it right now. I don't think I'm short. You know what, Miss Lesnar? You are 100% right. You are gold medal. You got it.
So obviously a lot of stuff has happened other than, the Lesnar family this past week.
Lots of stuff. A lot of meat, a lot of potatoes, as you were saying.
Where do you want to start? Because there's at least one topic we're going to fight over. Possibly a second.
That is going to be the majority of the show. I know that already. And we probably should have discussed about how we were going to segment this up, but
we never do.
It's us. We never properly do show prep as it is. So we could do that. We could talk about how the Eagles
lost by 8 points.
White Bear. Stop it.
2 holding calls, not called.
Stop it.
And also the Niners player trying to break Reed Blankenship's neck by pushing down on his neck. Cheating bastard.
Oh, Blankenship. You mean the guy who couldn't stop? Who the hell was our backup last year for the Giants? Who ran him over to get into the end zone in the last game of the year?
We felt bad for you.
Blankenship is kind of a scrub. So let's calm down.
He's in the Pro Bowl right now. He's the leading vote. He's the leading vote getter in the Pro Bowl.
All right, I don't know why. That Eagles defense is off this baby shit, man. I'm sorry.
If you
watch that game, I watched that game. Everybody watched that game. That Eagles defense is soft, super soft.
I would say the whole defense. I've said this for a couple seasons now.
That defensive front, that front 8. Now, granted, I know Christian McCaffrey is a different kind of animal.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel, different kind of animal. I get that. but you still got to show some kind of backbone. And they could not stop the 49ers offense in any way, shape, or form.
The problem was the middle of the field. I've said that for years. And that's why I like this Shaq Leonard signing for us. Yes, he's hurt the past 2 years. He's older now. Hell of a lot better linebacker than what we have on our roster right now. And with Cunningham out, I think he's out again this week. Hopefully he can shore up that middle there, which I think will help that front line.
I think, well, it's a desperate signing because they had to do something. Now, again, as far as desperate signings go, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a revelation, a game changer? I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's something. He shows, number one, that Howie Roseman is trying.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, we understand, we see the problem. We watched the same game that everybody else did. And yes, we saw how they just cut through us like cake. We get it. So, it's showing initiative from the Eagles that we identify that there's a problem. We're trying to do what we can with it. So, I mean, in that sense, I think as far as the fan base goes, I think that's reassuring. You would say, I think, as well as even you said it, you feel better having signed Shaq Leonard. He's maybe a spark, a little bit of an energy. Will he be a massive impact player immediately? Could be, maybe not, but it's something.
And the other rumor too is we might be looking at Sue bringing him back.
He seems to be having fun making TikToks with his wife, which, by the way, are entertaining as hell. Who knew that Ndamukong Suh was this kind of, funny? Him and his wife on TikTok, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. They're funny as shit. I love it. So that's the other thing. You got to try to tell that man, first of all, to get away from his wife, very beautiful wife, nice, comfortable house. If you look at, some of the TikToks there of his house, and he's got a nice big comfy bed, he's got nice beautiful couches and everything like that. It takes a lot to try to pull somebody away from that. Beautiful wife, beautiful house, nice comfy furniture. Let me go fucking smash my face into a bunch of grown, smelly men for the last couple of weeks here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, he's going to be getting a couple $1 million to do so. So it's like, all right, maybe that'll pull me out. So Christmas is coming. You got to pay for gifts and stuff like that. I get it. Need a walking around money.
Sticking with the Niners. After this game, Brock Purdy got thrown right up into the favorite to win MVP now.
I think I agree with that. I agree with that.
I don't. I mean, yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I mean, he played a good game. But if I had to pick one of the players from that team to be the league MVP, it has to be Christian McCaffrey. And then maybe Deebo Samuel, and then him.
No. I can see the argument for CMC. And I think both of them can be up there. But number one, the one thing that we all know is quarterbacks will always get the preference. Yeah. And so, like, trying to fight that is like trying to fight the tide. You're not going to win that fight. Yeah. So, understood. Because if you look at all the MVP favorites, they're all fucking quarterbacks. So,
and
it is. I think Tyreek Hill is like 7th or 8th or something.
Yeah. Which that again, like that. I mean, he's on pace to destroy what was it, Calvin Johnson's record, right, for most yards.
I don't know 1,000%. So I'm not going to comment on it because again, I'm not 1,000%. So, yeah. But Brock Purdy, like the knock that everybody had about Brock Purdy was like, I don't think he can really throw that far. Oh, I don't think he could go downfield. Let's see what he does in his second year. Like everybody's whole thing with him was, oh, last year could be a fluke. Nobody really knew. Nobody really saw him. We don't really know about Brock Purdy. And now he's coming back from an injury. He's got the Tommy John surgery, which is funny. If you see him in some of these later games when they're in a cold environment, he's wearing like the pitcher sleeve when he's on the bench to keep it warm and shit, because otherwise they'll probably fucking rip off his arm. You see all that. So he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. Everybody's kind of doubting him and saying last year was a fluke. And all he's done this year is proves to be an elite NFL quarterback. I'm sorry, he is. And he's playing maybe the best football of any quarterback out there right now on the best football team in the NFL. And we can argue about that later as all we want. I think the San Francisco 49ers, when fully healthy, thank you very much for leaving, helicopter. When you put all that together, the San Francisco 49ers, when healthy, are the best team in the NFL, and I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close at all. As we saw on Sunday, when that team is firing, when they are running like a greased machine,
Yeah.
there's nobody in the league that's stopping them. Nobody. And that's the thing. They had that 3-game stretch earlier in the year where they lost the 3 straight games right before their bye. They were a little banged up. I think Debo was hurt a little bit. McCaffrey was nicked up a bit. Some of their defense was nicked up. I know Bosa, I think, was out a game or two. Like, so there was all that.
Yeah.
And then they came out of that bye and hit the ground running. Boom. And they have not looked back. And they seem to be trying to prove a point of saying, like, that 3 games was not who we are. We are going forward. Like, they seem to be on a mission to hurt other fan base. Like, they're not just out there to beat teams, they're out there to embarrass teams.
Yeah.
And they kind of did that against the Eagles. And this is what I mean. This is not something against the Eagles. This is San Francisco is doing this to everybody.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared for that, you know. And now the Eagles have to go down to Dallas, in Dallas, where Dallas all of a sudden is clicking on all cylinders, and face off against Dak, who I hate to say it, because I was shitting on him in the beginning of the year. I was like, don't trust Dak to win games. Don't trust Dak to do anything good. Dak is never going to do anything. Well, Dak is making me eat a big pile of shit because he's playing like a goddamn MVP. So
that's against shitty teams too. You know, if you look at their schedule, I think they only played 2, maybe 3. When I say above 500 teams, those 1 or 2 teams were like 500. Now, you know, he played good against us.
That's right.
He played good against us the first time we met. So we'll see again here at home. We always split. You know, I can't remember the last time one of us swept the other. And the other thing too is, and me and you know this very well, when's the last time we had a division champ repeat? So
in the NFC East, I think it's 11 years now.
11 years.
Maybe even longer than that. It might be even longer than that.
So I mean, Philly loses, we go from number 1 seed, I believe, down to the 5th seed. And
yeah, because Dallas would be first in the division. San Francisco would be first in the conference.
Yeah.
And because you're not in the lead in the division anymore, you would drop all the way down to 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
yikes. That's what I mean. It's a big game.
And we can't control our destiny or whatever you want to call it. You know, if we win this
What do you play next week? Hold on, let me check this real quick, because I know you've had the end of the season. You're fine because you play us twice.
Yeah. Maybe it's like the Cardinals or something.
No, the Cardinals are part of that giant sandwich. It's the Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Okay.
So I know that. Let me pull this up real quick. Well, real quick for me is not that quick, because, you know, let me see. Eagles schedule. See, this would be a lot easier and smoother to do if I had a computer. Thanks, Alienware.
Well, while you're looking that up.
Oh, I mean, it's a winnable game, but it is a little tougher. It's
Seattle. Yeah.
You got to go, and I believe that it's up in Seattle. So you at Dallas, at Seattle.
I would fly us right out there. Don't even fly home. Just fly right out there, because whenever we fly to the West Coast, we're shit. And that's actually one of our worst games we played last year was against Seattle, and we lost it. We lost that game.
This is a rough stretch, and that's it. If the Eagles lose against the Cowboys, that's big. If they lose against the Cowboys and the Seahawks, that's a 3-game losing streak. You can kiss, obviously, the number 1 seed goodbye. You could probably kiss the division goodbye, no matter if they beat the Giants and the Cardinals and beat them up and win those 3 games.
Yeah.
At that point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
because you're already out of it. Although I'll say this: don't sleep on Tommy Cutlets. All right.
Who? Danny
I got
DeVito?
my goal.
Danny DeVito?
I love. I love. You know what? Even if obviously, I don't think the Giants are going to make the playoffs. Somehow, we're mathematically still alive. But I don't think
So
we're
are
making
the
the playoffs.
Patriots.
Did you see that? That's what they're
Yeah.
2-10, and they're fucking like. Okay,
That's the new the new playoff system.
you got to love math.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I give the whole Tommy DeVito thing and everything. I give her credit because all of a sudden, it made me want to watch Giants football again.
Yeah, it gave you guys a reason to watch.
I was so depressed going into Sundays. And then for some reason, because we had the fucking primetime games, like every time we had a primetime game, it's like, oh God, I don't want to watch this. Like it's so like, we're in the group chat, obviously me, you, my sister-in-law, Robin, who apparently loves us for some reason. And well, she loves how we fight and bicker all the time.
Yeah.
She's another Giants fan, so she hates the Eagles. Fuck you. But like when you're watching those games, it's just like, oh God, this is just it's a pain. You see it. You see how we talk about it. It's just like it's punishment. It's almost S&M at this point. Like, why are we watching this? Like, this is torture to watch. And what that kid has been able to do while getting murdered still, by the way, because the Giants' offensive line is garbage.
Yeah.
That much hasn't changed. But I mean, the kid is throwing pinpoint accurate passes. He's standing in the pocket and getting murdered, but completing passes. He's making smart decisions. And we beat Washington. Whoop-de shit. We beat New England. Not that hard. But it's like all of a sudden now the Giants are playing the Packers, who the Packers are on a roll coming up here on Monday night. But all of a sudden I'm like, I want to watch on Monday and see what old Tommy DeVito can do out there.
Do you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just saying, like, if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago about the Giants-Packers game on Monday night, I would have been like, I'm going to watch a movie and go to bed. Like, I'm not watching that fucking game. I'm not watching it. That's like, no, I'm done. Like, I was done with the Giants. I was like, I'm done. I'll watch other football games. I'll watch Red Zone. I'll watch other teams and be, entertained by good football. But I was like, I can't watch them anymore. It's painful. It sucks the soul out of you, But all of a sudden, seeing what Tommy's done, and and living up here in North Jersey, man, all the North Jersey Italians are gone. They're in there. They're in the gabagool right now, man. Oh, how you doing?
Do you start the rest of the season?
I think so. Unless he's absolutely terrible. Unless he absolutely reverts and throws like 6 picks and like the Giants get blown out, like I think he's the starter. As much as that might piss off Tyrod, Tyrod's upset because they named Tommy the starter and now he's moping around in his locker. It's like, you didn't do anything good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And this is the thing, like Daniel Jones got murdered and then he got injured. They put Tyrod in there. He didn't do anything. He got murdered. He got injured. DeVito is getting murdered, but at least he's doing something.
Yeah. Like you could see a different energy with that team.
If he can keep on throwing up wins and keep on, like all of a sudden, a lot of Giants fans don't want Daniel Jones here anymore anyway. That's not me. I like Daniel Jones. I still believe in Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And I like him if you give him an offensive line that doesn't get him murdered. I think, again, Daniel Jones dragged us kicking and screaming into the playoffs last year in a place that we didn't belong and actually won a game. So I still give him all the credit and I give him the benefit of the doubt. If Tommy DeVito can roll off a couple wins here and let's say by some fucking miracle wins one of the 2 games against the Eagles, there's going to be a serious conversation about, is this kid our Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Like, is he this kid that came from absolutely nowhere, undrafted free agent that is like, oh, wait a minute, he can actually fucking ball. Like, he knows what he's doing. He looks good. He looks confident. He looks good out there. Like, there's going to be that conversation. Now, if he falls flat on his face and at the end of the year and if we lose 4 or 5 straight or whatever, fine. That'll be what it is. But for now, I'm going to enjoy the ride for what it is because the rest of the season has been a fucking slog. So I'll give him.
Like to add on to what you just said about can this be your Brock Purdy or whatever? Best case scenario, yeah, that could be your Brock Purdy. Worst case scenario, as we've seen this year, 13, 14 starting quarterbacks hurt.
Solid backup.
Solid backup, yeah.
Solid backup. And that's the thing, man. Everybody's getting hurt. This has been an extraordinary year for quarterback injuries. Extraordinary year. We just saw another one on Monday night with Trevor Lawrence getting stepped on by his offensive lineman, got a high ankle sprain. He seems to be okay. He says that he's all right. If he feels like he's good enough and can still be himself, that'll go out there and play. So we'll see. Kenny Pickett's hurt though. I mean, you go down the line though, like we mentioned, Daniel Jones, you got Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow,
Kirk Cousins.
Who else is that? I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, and
so many injured quarterbacks.
That's just the quarterback position. There's been a lot of injuries just in general this year.
There's been a lot of injuries. And there's been a lot of different reasons. Some people say it's the turf, but the thing is, like, a lot of these injuries are also happening on grass. Like a lot of the Achilles and the ACLs and stuff. Like Daniel Jones' ACL happened on grass.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, I think the running back for
the Ravens.
Ravens, he tore his ACL. They have grass. But then you have Aaron Rodgers. That's turf. It was the new MetLife turf. It's not the old one that everybody complained about.
Yeah.
But people are still bitching about it because it's MetLife and it looks like a giant fucking air conditioning unit. So I'm fine with that because that place fucking sucks.
Which I can't wait to see in February.
Let's go Devils. Although hopefully by then we have a fucking goaltender. I'll say that.
We swept the Penguins. I'm pretty sure we're done playing the Penguins for the year. We swept them. Or at least we won back-to-back games against them this past
I was going to
week.
say, usually a division opponent, you play like 4 or 5 games usually. So
either way.
You got 2 now. You'll probably play a couple later.
Yeah.
We beat you, right? The first game we had against you, we beat you.
We're not going to talk about that.
I'm happy with that. The only thing I don't like is that the Rangers are in first place. That fucking sucks for both of us. So.
Yeah. And the funny part is we weren't supposed to be good this year. We were supposed to be bottom of the barrel again. And here we were, second, third place in the division.
You'll be down there. You'll be down there. You got the torts bump there, but it'll.
We got balls.
That doesn't last too long.
We got balls. That's why we're winning.
Hey, you got balls. Like Tommy Cutlets, you got the balls.
But that's funny though about that story with him, DeVito, and Brock Purdy. Starting NFL quarterbacks, one's living at home and one has roommates. I mean, I can understand the San Fran aspect of it because they're just so expensive out there, but he's living at home still, making.
Yeah, but you think it's any cheaper in northern New Jersey?
I think it's a little bit cheaper than San Fran.
No, it's not.
No. I mean, I know it's not Pennsylvania prices. I know they're a lot higher than Pennsylvania.
No, in the New York metropolitan area. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like me and my wife were trying to find apartments now, just even miles away. We're looking for even South Jersey, and South Jersey's still ridiculously priced.
Wow.
Like you can't find anything.
Yeah.
You can't find anything that's any kind of reasonable price unless you get almost out to Center County in Pennsylvania. And I don't want to live next to Penn State. You never know what's going to happen out there. Rhythmic slapping, as it were.
Hey,
hey. But that's the thing. Like Brock Purdy's only making $800,000 this year.
Yeah.
And I know I say $800,000 like that wouldn't change my fucking life.
Yeah.
But for an NFL quarterback, for a potential MVP NFL starting quarterback, he's making $800,000.
Can you imagine that?
That's insane.
If he keeps on pace, these next, I think he has like another year or 2 on his rookie deal. Keeps on pace with this.
No, here's the thing. That rookie deal doesn't mean shit. If they get to the Super Bowl and if he wins the MVP or any one of those things, if they get to the NFC Championship game, he's an MVP candidate. If he wins the MVP, like anything of that nature, like they're going in there, they're ripping that up and they're paying that kid.
But don't they have to wait till the last year of it?
No, because what are rookie contracts? 4 years.
Yeah.
And if you're in a first round, there's the fifth round option, but he clearly wasn't a first round. He was the very last pick. So he's got a 4-year rookie contract or 4-year contracts. But they'll rip that up early and get him a new. Absolutely, you can't. You're not going to have a kid that potentially is the NFL MVP and a Super Bowl champion playing for $800,000 next year. That's not happening. It's not going to happen.
250 mil. You think he breaks that 200 million if he keeps on pace with how he's going?
If all those things happen, like if he gets the MVP, if he wins the Super Bowl, does all that kind of shit, I think you're looking at. You're going to talk about around Mahomes' money.
Yeah.
It's going to be around Mahomes. Around that. Is he going to be the very highest? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to pay him as a top 15.
The kid himself seems to be the kind of kid that would be like, pay me a lot, but being top or not, and like that doesn't matter. I want to make sure we keep some of the other guys and keep pieces and whatever. So I don't know, but that kid's gonna make some bank. If all those other things happen, I think I don't think it's a question. And the way it's going right now, it's looking like a lot of those things are gonna happen. So, but Jimbo, I gotta say, as much as I love talking about the NFL. I think for now we're going to put a pause on the good old National Football League, which we love so much, and we got to talk about something else.
Yeah,
and that would be
Florida State getting screwed over.
Our beloved no, because that's not what happened.
It did. Stupid ass. It's a stupid criteria why they got screwed over.
It's been the criteria since time immemorial when it comes to college football. As much as it's ever been just straight up rankings, or when they did the bowl, they did something before the BCS. It was called like the bowl committee of something or other where they fucking voted on shit. Then you had the BCS.
Yeah. And
now you have the college football playoff with the 4 teams, which we all said it from the jump was the dumbest fucking thing to do.
Yeah,
is only having 4 teams in the playoffs, but common sense doesn't run
dumber,
through.
But
what's that?
I said going 12 is dumber, but
we had this argument in the summer, and I disagree with that. I think 8 would have been fine, but 12 is perfect. And if anything, 12 is actually better considering all the shit that's happened here now. Now you're going to be able. Starting next year, you're going to be able to shut everybody the fuck up. And tell them, listen, just be good enough to fucking make it, won't you?
Yeah.
But
Notre Dame.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, I mean, the Irish are always good. The Irish are always going to be just good enough to disappoint us.
Yeah.
I've come to realize this. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I, for one, when I saw, I called it that night. I don't know if you remember in the group chat.
No, I remember.
I put in there because after Alabama beat Georgia, that was when we all went like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
like this is going to cause chaos now because now everything was nice, everything was simple. You kind of knew how it was going to go. Once Alabama beat Georgia, what goes on here? And that's when I went in there and I said, what you're probably looking at is Michigan 1, Washington 2, and then you could either flip-flop them either way. I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah.
Texas and Alabama. And I said they're probably going to leave Georgia out, which is crazy to think about because Georgia, to me, is still probably the best team in the land.
Yeah.
Even with that loss against Alabama. And I said they were going to leave Florida State out because the ACC was a very down conference this year. Not if any good teams in the ACC, and everybody wanted to talk about how they scheduled LSU. LSU's 9-3, not that great. Yeah. Good job, Brian Kelly. Good job.
Way to turn that program around.
Good job, Brian.
Keep it up.
All about family. So when I looked at all of that, and I said, they're going to look at, and the one thing that you kept on hearing that was getting just pummeled right into everybody was best 4 not most deserving for. And we've heard that before with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We've heard that before in other things, and it's always been like, all right, I mean, I get it. And so when they did announce it, I said, I knew it. I called it, and I, for one, think they got it right, because I don't think. Not only do I don't think Florida State is one of the best 4 teams, I don't think Florida State's one of the best 8 teams, or at least 7. I think not only is Georgia better than them, I think Oregon's better than them. I think if you put Oregon and Florida State on a neutral field, Oregon mops them.
But see, that's the thing. You're not putting them in the top 4 for that reason. You have that, Kirk Herbstreit said it, the criteria, conference champion, strength of schedule. I forget what the third one is, and then the fourth one, which is the stupidest one, star power, availability.
Yes, if they have any injuries or anything else that affects their football.
And you know what? I do not like Stephen A. Smith. All I hear from him is just yelling. I don't even hear any of his points or anything like that sometimes. But I do agree with him. If Deion Sanders was the head coach of the Florida State, they would have been in there.
1,000%. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Stupid. That is the stupidest reason.
But it's always been with college football. Why is it? See, all of a sudden everybody wants to talk about whether or not it's records or not. Oh, well, their record, they're 13-0, and they're from the ACC. They're from a Power 5 conference. They were from the weakest Power 5 conference this year. I think the AAC was better than the ACC this year, if we're being honest.
Okay.
And the college football has always, forever been about style points.
Yeah.
Always been about how do you win. It's never been about just winning. It's been about how you win. How did you look when you won? Now, Granted, whether we like it or not, that's always been the case. And that's what's always been the difference between college and the NFL. The NFL is, listen, doesn't have to be pretty. A win is a win. A loss is a loss. That's what matters. College football has always been, yeah, you won, but how did you look when you won? And that's always been the case.
And that's why I think Florida
State.
To
anybody. What's that?
And that's why I think Florida State should be in over Alabama. I agree with the top 3. That's definite. You beat Auburn by a fluke play. So you're talking about style points. How did you win? By a fluke play. Florida State
but then they
undefeated.
beat the number 1 team in the land for the last 3 years, who lost 1 game in 3 years, and that game was to Alabama in the SEC championship game. And by the way, Georgia made it into the playoffs that year and won the national championship. So you're talking about the team that won the last 2 national championships, has won 29 straight games, has 48 over 49. And you're going to sit there and say, like, that doesn't mean anything?
No, because you're basing it off of this year. You're not basing it off of the past.
No, and this year, Georgia's the best team in the world. Georgia, right now, Georgia is the best team in the nation.
That lost to a number 8 team. So again, style points. How did you look? You lost.
So what does that tell you? Does that tell you either Georgia wasn't the number 1 team, or does that tell you Alabama was better than number 8?
Maybe Bama was better than number 8, but
Bama was a lot better than number 8. Bama got to number 8 because people, rightfully or wrongfully, don't like Alabama. Yeah. I'm one of them. I don't like Alabama. I root against Alabama. When they lost to Texas, I was happy. And that's the best thing that happened to Texas, because Alabama was not going into the playoffs without Texas.
Yeah.
If Alabama was in, Texas was going in, because Texas had that win against them. And so if you're Florida State, you're looking like, here's the thing. Here's the other thing, too. If Florida State beat Louisville by like 30 points in the ACC championship game, they're in the playoffs. They are. They struggled against Florida. They struggled against a very bad Florida team this year. And they struggled against a mediocre Louisville team. And that's why it pissed me off that Louisville beat Notre Dame, because Notre Dame should have beaten Louisville.
Yeah.
And we did it.
And same thing with Alabama. They struggled with Auburn. They lost to Texas.
But they beat them. But again, Texas is another team Alabama lost to, but they were clearly good enough to get. I mean, and not only that, but when it comes down to it, they played a mediocre Oklahoma State team and boat raced them. If Florida State could have boat raced Louisville, they'd be in the playoffs. And if they had Travis in there,
Yeah.
they probably would have boat raced them,
Yeah.
but they didn't. And that's the whole point of what the committee was looking at. And the committee doesn't want. How many times did we watch the college football playoffs over the years? Like, remember that one year? Who was it? Ohio State and Oregon. And Oregon, I think Ohio State got shut out in that game. It was like 42-0. Like, it was an absolute disgrace. Most of this. How many times did when Notre Dame got in there to the semifinals? They got blown out twice.
Yeah,
like Cincinnati got in because Cincinnati deserved it from the AAC, and they were undefeated, and they deserved to get in there, and they got fucking smoked.
So
if you put Florida State in there against Michigan, right now, Michigan boat races them, and everybody turns the television off before the fucking before halftime. It's over.
And that's what's going to happen in the Michigan and Bama.
That's gonna be a fun. Bama's probably gonna win that game. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
It hurts me as a Notre Dame fan to try to pick a team to watch, to root for in that, because I hate fucking both of them.
Yeah.
But that one's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be a good one. And not only that, but you're talking about Michigan, Alabama in the Rose Bowl. What a fucking matchup.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. That is a consideration. Now, here's the other thing, too. People are acting like Florida State is some small school that's getting beat out by bigger names like Alabama. Florida State's a fucking huge brand. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but 3 years ago,
Florida State's a massive brand.
3 years ago, they were shit.
Yeah, that's 3 years ago. But even so, with 3 years ago, Florida State is still Florida State.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They still are. But at the end of the day, when you look at who the teams are, the only mistake the committee made this year was having Florida State ranked ahead of Georgia in the final poll. Georgia should have been number 5.
No.
And in my opinion, Oregon should have been number 6. And I think you should have put Florida at 7. Even at 13-0.
What was Oregon played Washington, right?
They played Washington. They lost to them in a great game, in the last game of the Pac-12.
Okay.
Man, Pac-12 went out with a fucking bang this year.
Talk
probably
about that.
The best Pac-12 was probably the best football conference this year.
Yeah.
And that Pac-12 title game was a fucking fun watch. That was amazing.
I remember before the college season, me and you saying about the Pac-12 just going to be shit this year because everybody's leaving.
They're going to pack it up. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're going out there. Man, boy, we roll.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you're taking Bama to beat Michigan.
Right now, gun in my head,
just straight up.
I don't know. Like I said, I think Bama probably wins that game, but I think it's closer. And again, my mind might change a couple more times before we get down to the Rose Bowl there.
What they got? 2 weeks.
What is that? Like New Year's?
Oh, it's a New
weekend
Year's Day.
there.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's like New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's. I could check that real quick. But even so, I think that's a great matchup. And I'm interested to see what Washington does against Texas.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to be on Texas, but Washington has shown an ability to beat these other great teams and hold on and to scratch and claw and to stay there. And that's the other thing too. Like, Washington is undefeated, but they went into that Pac-12 title game 9.5-point underdogs.
Yeah.
To Oregon, who they beat just a few weeks before. Granted, it was by a missed field goal and whatever that would have sent it to overtime and everything like that. But they, like, I don't know how you have them as, like, I didn't understand that then. And then you watch that game and they go out to this huge lead. A couple of bad calls got Oregon back in it. I'm not going to go into that. Referees are what they are at any level. But I'm very impressed with Washington, and that's the thing. The committee was too. And when you watch these games, when you do the eyeball test, I'm sorry, Florida State is not one of the best 4 teams. And a lot of people are bringing up UCF and being like, well, the problem with UCF is they weren't in the Power 5. Florida State's in the Power 5, so they should be in. No, the ACC this year was dog shit. I'm sorry. Just because you have the letters ACC on your conference doesn't automatically mean that you should get in, because your conference was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And then when you have a year like the Pac-12 had, in which the Pac-12 was light years better than the ACC, the SEC is always big. The Big Ten is always going to get the Big Ten and the SEC are always going to get the benefit of the doubt. People see that's corruption, that's terrible. No, that's just they play better football. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, well, what about Northwestern and Rutgers? Yeah, sure. There's shit teams there. There's shit teams in, the SEC too, with Vanderbilt and fucking, whoever else. But those shit, with those shit teams, you also get Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, LSU, as much as I don't like Brian Kelly.
Yeah, fuck him.
You have these other teams, and then like Missouri this year was 10-2.
Yeah.
Like, so let's pump the fucking brakes on saying like, oh, well, the SEC was garbage too. No, the fuck it wasn't. Not nearly as much as the fucking ACC was. The ACC was dog shit.
And
everybody thought the big surprise was Duke this year until they lost to Notre Dame, and then they went fucking straight downhill. Congratulations, Mike Elko, by the way, for being the next person to get a $70 million buyout from Texas A&M when they eventually fire you.
Who's the bigger winner here? Frank Reich from Indy and Carolina, or who was it? Jimbo Fisher from
Jimbo Fisher, your namesake there, Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. I think
because it's all guaranteed. Like there's no. The other thing is too, is that it doesn't matter. Like he can go and get another job, and it's not a deferred payment.
Oh, okay.
You know how with most of these contracts, it's like, well, if you get a job there, whatever they pay you is then taken away from what we owe you, and so it's less money. He gets all of it, plus then whatever else he gets working somewhere else.
Yeah.
If he wants to.
Yeah.
Like that's the insane part of that deal is like he gets all of that money, no holds barred, doesn't matter, all of it. What a great deal for him.
Yeah.
What a dumb deal for Texas A&M.
I think the same agent that Jimbo Fisher had, I think was the same agent Frank Reich had, because on Pat McAfee's show, I think last week they were talking about it. This agent has like 2 or 3 coaches that have this type of deal. It's like, holy shit, man. I mean, I wish I had that kind of money just to, here, if you fuck up and I fire you, I don't care. It's, lost money. But, I mean, as far as the top 4 teams, as much as I don't like Bama, I'm not going to root for them, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't like Michigan either.
I'm probably going to be rooting for Michigan because I'll never forgive Bama for 2012.
Dude, we didn't belong there. I'm sorry. It's time to admit this.
I thought 11
we did. Years later.
I'll admit this. I know I waited till the last 2 minutes of the game to finally accept the fact that the game was over. But I knew we were fucked after the first drive. I'm like, where is this defense? I think Monte Te'o's girlfriend was seen there more than our defense.
Why are we still going after Manti? Especially after that documentary, man. Leave that poor kid alone.
But I think these 4 teams that are in there now, I do think that it's going to be entertaining games compared to, last year TCU and.
I think this is going to be a good semifinal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I am excited to watch it.
So what you're saying is, essentially, I'm sorry to cut you off, but what you're saying essentially is, yes, King, you were right.
No.
Thank you, Jimbo.
I never said that.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I understand it took a lot. It's very big of you to go ahead and admit that. I know that. But the committee got it right. I said the committee got it right. I called it before the committee even posted it, that was probably going to be the 4 teams. And finally, you've come around and you've said, you know what, King, you're right. I agree with you. This is going to be a fun college football playoff this year. Thank you so much, Jimbo.
I will admit that.
Feels good. Feels good to win a debate. I love it. It's good. It's good stuff. Good job. I think you put up a good effort. You did a good effort, but I'm sorry. Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose. I understand that. And today, it's good to be the champion.
I will admit that when you admit that I never said I did not want Jalen Carter.
Well, no, because that's a fact.
And it's a recording right now.
People can go back. I can find the episode and tell people which episode to go to listen to you say that.
I gotta defend him for a second. A lot of us. Well, no, let me take that back a second. Not us, because I'm not one of them. Eagles
Oh,
fans.
those other Eagles
Other
fans.
Eagle fan making fun of him because he was crying on the sideline, and show some, don't show your emotion. Fuck off. I mean, that was a big game. He's a rookie. He's still learning how the NFL is going. He wanted to win that game as bad as the next player, as bad as the next fan. Shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry. I had a joke pop into my head.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'll tell it to you off the air.
Okay.
Because I would still like people to like the show. I know people probably don't like the show anyway because I curse too much and whatever. So, but
I'll tell you what, we've been doing some good numbers, and I appreciate everybody tuning in to us, listening.
Well, people started listening once I got off the air again. Once, since my computer's been down, 4 weeks, 5 weeks now?
No,
people,
it was, the week that your computer died, they started tuning in, and I think they were trying to tune in to see if you got a new computer. Or
we did that show. That was the first show we did that was purely just on my phone, like we're doing now.
Yeah. And I think they're also tuning in to see if I was gonna have to sing as Taylor Swift, which, I mean, I would have liked.
What was that bet again? I forgot. What was the bet?
It was they had to go to buymeacoffee.com/stsports, donate.
And if we that's right. If we reached 500, then you'd have to do that.
Yeah, and
we're nowhere close to that, are we?
No, I think I owe Buy Me a Coffee. But
oh shit.
Yeah, so and speaking of her, I guess she did help out on what was it, Sunday night, Monday night?
Yeah, no, that's the first game she's been to that they lost, and I was thinking she was there. So good luck, Charm is ready to go.
She's a fake Eagles fan. She's a fake Eagles fan. She was commented saying, "I didn't realize football meant this much to me."
And how good football is. Yes, I saw her. Because congratulations, Taylor, by the way, Time Person of the Year. Congratulations. I don't listen, after all the shit she did this year with the Eras Tour and all, I mean, everything else, I think it was a clear cut. Yeah. I don't think there was anybody else that was going to get that. So good for her. And some real good tidbits in that interview about just her and Travis, her and the stuff with Kim and Kanye, who are scumbags, and we always kind of knew they were scumbags anyway. And there's just even more of a scumbaggy shit there now, stuff that people kind of already knew, but I think more people know about it now. And then that shit about actually, realizing and watching and paying attention to football and being like, hey, actually, this is pretty good shit.
Yeah.
This is really fun and entertaining. I like this.
So I don't ever want to hear that she was a diehard Eagles fan, because if you were a diehard Eagles fan, you would have known about football since you were 8.
Well, she apparently wore Eagles shit. Like, apparently she had an Eagles t-shirt on the floor there, within her lyrics, as it were. So at least you guys got a shout out.
How did you know her shirt was on her floor?
Because it's the lyrics in the song.
Oh, I thought maybe you went all king.
No, I'm not a creep like you. I'm not creepy. I'm a pervert. I'm disgusting, but I'm not creepy. There's a fine line between pervert and creepy.
Okay.
And I'm sure most of the female friends that we know can explain that more in detail and what fine lines I ride. But shout out to Ashley, by the way, for still being my friend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I was excited to see that. That was actually one of the first things I saw from my wife this morning when she sent that in. She was like, "Oh my God!" She was like, "Person of the Year." First of all, the first message I got was a picture of Taylor like on the cover with her like armpits and shit.
Okay.
And my wife was like, "Oh, you're gonna really like this picture," and I was like, do you really think like I'm an armpit perv? Like I'm like one of those guys that like I want to lick her armpits. Like granted, I would lick her armpits, but that's not the first place I'm going. You know what I mean? Like I've been to some places on the internet where you see some of these guys lose their shit over armpits. I don't know what that's about. Like that to me, that's even weirder than the feet thing. Like you have
Yeah.
to feed people like they're their own weird fucking sect, and now you got these fucking armpit freaks, and it's like, yeah,
A lot of questions there that
there's a lot. No,
I
listen,
don't
listen.
want answers for.
There are some dark places on the internet nobody should ever go. I'm just going to point that out there, right there. But so that's the first thing. That's how I kind of greet the day, with my wife being like, "She's hot in this, don't you think?" It's like, well, yeah, she's Taylor. I think she's always hot. And then she goes off about all the other stuff and writing about how she met Travis and how it was, they were really dating when nobody knew. It was very secret, And by the time that she went to that first Chiefs game, like they were already a couple by that point.
Yeah.
Because they had been dating for a couple months. So. It was good, but good for her, good for him. It seems like it's working out right now better than any of her past shit that she had. And Travis, real gentleman, showing her how the NFL and real men work there. So good for them. Good for the lovebirds. Not too good for the Chiefs though. Holy shit, are they in fucking trouble?
I heard the question again when I was listening to Pat McAfee's show. I wasn't watching it at work or anything.
Sure.
I forget who it was from the panel there. They asked him, the one guy that does all the videos. Who? No.
Schmidt.
It starts with a D.
Diggs. He
did a clip on the Chiefs. Mahomes went to throw the pass, and I think it was Sky Moore went left and the pass went right.
No, you're talking about Darius Butler.
I got the D part right.
You always get the D, apparently. Got him.
Well, I mean, you've been off for 3 weeks, so you should have enough ammo for you. All right,
feels good to be back.
Pat asked him, is he worried about the Chiefs? And he said yes. This late in the season, they're usually clicking by now, and they're not clicking.
Yeah, you're supposed to be getting better. You're supposed to be doing what the Niners are doing. You're supposed to be doing what the Cowboys are doing. You're supposed to be getting better. They're getting worse. They're like the Bills at this point. They're getting worse.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And now here's the other thing, too. I think the Packers are kind of doing it. The Packers are getting better. I think Jordan Love is finally getting it. I think he's clicking. He's definitely clicking with Watson there.
Yeah.
Christian Watson, whatever. Like they've got a great dynamic going on there. They still got a defensive problem, I think. But Green Bay is clicking. Green Bay's playing well, which again gives me pause for Monday night. I was like, well, the Giants might get blown out, but at least I'll see Tommy DeVito do, But on the other hand of that, like if you're the Chiefs, you can't lose that game.
Yeah.
Bad calls, good calls go your way, calls go against you, whatever the case is, you can't lose that game. You can't have that game be at that point. And, yes, was that an egregious missed pass interference call at the end of the game? Yes. But also getting a free 15 yards for a late hit out of bounds on Mahomes when he was still inbound kind of negates that. So, like that, to me, that's the old hockey, referees where you get a bad call and it's like, all right, well, we'll make a bad call for the other team so it evens out, That's what that was. So, but still, you can't let it get to that point.
Yeah.
You can't let it get to where there's 40 seconds left in the game and you're depending on a pass interference call against MVS, who, by the way, he couldn't catch a cold if you sneezed in his face. So who knows if he even completes that pass anyway.
Yeah.
There's problems in Kansas City. And that's the thing. They don't have anybody else that's working. So now you have everybody keying on Travis Kelce. So he's not nearly as open as he used to be.
Yeah.
He's not able to get the yardage. He's not able to get, the gains and the first downs that he used to getting. That's causing a problem. And with anybody else, if it's not balanced, if you're putting your defense on the field constantly, you're going to have problems. And right now, the Chiefs have got problems. The Chiefs are in danger of having the Broncos catch them.
Yeah. and this is the Broncos team.
Go back 8 weeks in the NFL season and say that to somebody and watch them laugh in your face.
Ever since that 70-point game, Broncos turned it around.
They really have, and a credit to Russell Wilson, a credit to
Sean Payton.
shithead, who
Sean.
I'm not a big fan of, but whatever.
Yeah.
But he, the former Giants offensive coordinator, by the way. I mean, at the end of the day, they took their lumps with that 70-point loss, and I don't know clearly that had to be some kind of motivating factor. But when you win 5 straight games, now granted they lost this week to the Texans, who are also something special. I mean, what CJ Stroud is doing, what they're doing down there in Houston is really remarkable and incredible.
Never saw it coming.
Nobody saw that. Yeah, if you're talking about, dude, listen to this. We're talking about a scenario here where we could have 3 AFC South teams make the playoffs. If you would have said that in the beginning of the year, you're getting arrested and thrown into the psychiatric ward because it doesn't make sense. You're getting slapped by people because it made literally no sense. You would sound like a stark raving idiot. 3 teams from the AFC South. The Colts suck. The Houston Texans suck. The Jaguars are mediocre at best, and the Titans can't get out of their own way. Now, the Titans are the only team that have lived up to their preseason potential of being garbage. Yeah. But even then, people thought that they were going to be better. People thought that they were at least going to be like the second place team. They may not make the playoffs, but they got D-Hop and they got, Tannehill may not be great, but he's playing better. Oh, we got Will Levis, though. I like that kid. He's got moxie or whatever the fuck they say. Like, oh, it'll be great. I don't know. But that has not worked down there in Tennessee. I don't know what's going on there. But that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy that the AFC South is that good. And you would have thought earlier in the year that the AFC North would have had it with the 3 teams because that was looking like a great division. All 4 teams were looking good. They were going to beat the shit out of each other. And, well, they did because all their quarterbacks are fucking hurt, except for Lamar Jackson. And if I'm the Ravens, I'm wrapping that motherfucker in bubble wrap. Yeah. I'm making sure that I'm everything. Put him in a suit of armor. Go out there looking like a knight. I don't care. Like, I'm not risking that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What the fuck were we talking about? I don't even know. I went up on a rant. That happens.
Yeah, it does happen. It's been a while, so that's why I kind of let you go with
Taylor
it.
Swift. Yeah, no. Congratulations, Taylor. Person of the year.
I will say, Ryan Reynolds, that was funny what he did with the picture.
That was pretty fucking funny. Well, I mean, that's when Blake Lively is your wife. It's pretty good. And your wife's best friend and your best friend is Taylor Swift. Just a couple of billionaires hanging out, as you do. And they're all friends with Miles Teller and Aaron Rodgers is part of that group. I know some people might find that weird, but yeah, no,
Do you think Aaron Rodgers
immunized himself,
Do you think Aaron Rodgers banging Zach Wilson's mom? Because I was listening to him on Pat McAfee's show yesterday. The report came out that Zach Wilson refuses to go back in and blah, blah, blah. And I mean,
what drama? Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he was like, he's a good kid. I love him so much. Like something a father would be saying about his son.
He's like a son to me, and I know that.
That's
banging his mom.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, the latest scuttlebutt out of that. Now, here's the thing. We're dropping some tea here. I don't know if we're becoming like a gossip show. Is this like TMZ and extra of the sports world? I don't know. Whatever gets people to watch, I guess. We'll see. Yeah. Apparently, what the latest rumors scuttlebutt going around is Diana Rossini from ESPN made that report about Zach Wilson saying that I'm okay. I don't want to go out there again.
Okay.
Apparently, allegedly, rumors have it that what happened is that Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson were talking shit in the locker room about that. Word kind of got around that they were looking to make the switch back to Zach. Boyle was talking to Zach about it. Zach was tell Tim Boyle, that's a bad idea. I don't even want to go out there again. They fucked me over so many times and all this shit. Like, I don't want to go out there. Da, 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 da. Tim Boyle then went snitched to his agent.
Oh.
His agent told Diana Rossini, and then just a couple of 8 hours later or whatever it was, Tim Boyle's cut. out of nowhere.
Yeah, that makes sense now. That's
Kicked
why I
off
got
the
shit
team. Now
canned.
it's like, all of a sudden, now it's like, oh, they cut Tim Boyle, not because he sucks, but because he's a fucking locker room snitch.
Yeah.
Ah, that makes sense. And Zach Wilson's fucking starting anyway. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster for the Jets of a season. For a season that started with such hope that I'm talking about, like, Jets AFC Championship material. They can do this. They got Aaron Rodgers. That defense is solid. Their offensive weapons, they're going to be able to do this. What an absolute disaster. And what a waste
Yeah.
of an absolute great defense. But that you're seeing it again across the league. The Cleveland Browns might have the best defense of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
In the NFL this season. The Cleveland Browns defense is an all-time defense. And they're not going to make the playoffs because
Joe Flacco could turn around.
because Watson got injured. And they don't have the same problem that the Jets have. They don't have anybody at quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, they got Joe Flacco. He could play.
Joe Flacco. And he played. Listen, he played well.
Yeah.
He did. I'll give him the credit. He played well. One mistake there when if that kicker doesn't miss that extra point and they're actually tied, I think that changes the whole game, changes how they plan to do stuff. When they're down that 1 point, you still need to get down there. You still need to get that drive. He tried to force it, and then the game got away from them. That was a shame.
Yeah.
And Jake Browning for the Bengals, if he plays the way he played on Monday night the rest of the season, the Bengals can make the playoffs.
And that goes back
the Bengals
to
can absolutely make the playoffs with Mr. Browning there.
That goes back to your DeVito thing too. Is if he plays the rest of the year good, you're guaranteed a good backup now.
Undrafted free agent,
Yeah.
all of a sudden making great decisions. What was he? He was 32 or 36.
Yeah.
320 some odd yards. 2 touchdowns responsible for, 1 passing, 1 he ran in himself. Like, kid had a great game. Kid had an absolutely dynamite game. In a game that everybody thought, oh, Jacksonville's going to win this one easy. It was like, oh, this is going to be another boring primetime game. That game had it all. Overtime, back and forth. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence got injured, but it was a shootout. Pew, pew, pew. It was great. I loved it.
Is that how they sound when the ball leaves their hand? Pew.
Oh, yeah, when the ball's in the air. It's like those old Nerf whistle ones.
Yeah. Oh, I used to hate catching them because I would always catch the whistle part.
The whistle part. It's like,
yeah. Oh boy.
So I'm hoping something like that happens on Monday night with the Giants and Packers. I'm hoping old Tommy Cutlets there is able to go ahead and.
Well, if Tommy's a little off, I think I know what he needs to get back into the game.
What could he possibly need? If he's not focused enough on that game, what's going to give him even more focus or energy to get ready for a Monday night football game against the Packers, Jimbo?
Some Dubby energy, especially the paleo cream.
When you're right, you're right. And I'll tell you what, if I'm old Tommy Cutlets, I'm going to Ma. I'm like, hey, Ma, the meatloaf. And then I'm also saying, did you get the Dubby I ordered? Did it come in yet? Gabagool. And then you go ahead. Your mom brings down your Dubby. You mix that up. You chug it. You have your dad drive you to the stadium for the night, and you get ready for that game. Because Dubby, that's going to help you focus. And the other great thing is he's not going to be jittery. He's not going to go ahead and go, and just throw the ball and throw a duck. You know why? Do you know why, Jimbo?
Why?
There's no sugar in Dubby. There's no sugar, so you don't get that crash. You don't get the shakes. You don't get any of that stuff. It's great. It also has neurofactor, which goes ahead, helps the brain, helps the synapses fire better. This is going to help old Tommy Cutlets there. Look, scan the field, do it quickly. Oh, there's Sterling Shepard. He's open. Bing! There you go. I mean, it's going to happen. Oh, where's Hyatt? There he is. Bing! If he's drinking Dubby, there's no way the Giants can lose this game. And if you want to be like old Tommy Cutlets there, you got to go ahead to go Dubby.gg. That's Dubby.gg. Check out all the wonderful products they have there. They have some merch. They have those little cool shaker bottles. They go ahead and put your Dubby in, so it's all branded. Very nice. They have sample packs, so you can try out all the delicious and wonderful Dubby flavors. Me personally, love the Dub Sludge. That's my go-to. It always has been, always will be. I'm an Apple guy. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You go ahead and you can try all them out. And then if you find the one you like, you can buy that there too. You go to the checkout. When you're ready to check out, in the promo code, you put in ST Sports 18, Jimbo.
Yes.
ST Sports 18. All capital letters. You're going to get 10% off your entire order. Jimbo, you know the tagline. It's Dubby.
Be better.
There you go.
It only took almost a year, but hey, I finally got it.
You got it. You got it. And I like it. You got your head on a swivel out there.
Hey,
Because you're drinking Dubby.
If Tommy don't need it, maybe the offensive line should take some before the game. That might help them.
Listen, I love Dubby. We love Dubby here. We're big Dubby fans.
Yes.
There's not a fucking thing in the world you could give those offensive linemen straight Colombian cocaine. It ain't helping them. Ain't nothing's going to help them focus.
Kids, don't do drugs.
I mean, when you get old enough, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
If you do drugs, it's pretty cool. like cocaine's fun. In moderation, everything in moderation. But, a little bit of weed, a little bit of coke, you do a little drinking, it's good stuff.
Well, it was a fun run.
The opinions of King are not necessarily those of Stay Tuned Sports or any subsidiaries or parent companies, of which we don't have any, but,
I'm going to steal a tagline here from Pat's show, but we are stupid, and we appreciate you guys signing in and watching and listening to us.
This is, listen, if Pat's show is stupid, we're dumb.
Yeah.
but we're happy to be dumb for you.
Yes. Hopefully
we're happy to be dumb with you. The world needs a little bit more laughter, a little bit more joy, and a little bit more of me being right about the college football playoffs, because Jimbo's
FSU
wrong.
Being in number 4.
Right. I am the greatest debater in the whole world, and you know that the college committee got it right. I'm excited. By the way, January 1st, New Year's Day is when the semifinals are. That's going to be a great day. Getting ready, having the hangovers, drinking again to get you a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit you there. Get the snacks ready to go. I'm excited.
So till next week, it's your good friend Jimbo.
And it's your boy King.
Hopefully he's back next week.
I love that Taylor said the fact that Travis put her on blast on his podcast about the bracelet thing was so metal. And the funny thing is, going on Twitter and everything like that and seeing all the Swifties being like, what does this mean? I don't know what this means. What does it mean to be metal? I don't get it. And it's like, fucking Christ.